Alright, Scream 4 review. We're gonna break it down scene by scene. We got JVM 2005 and Mr. Creepshow 09. Alright, let's do it.
Alright, so the Texas Chainsaw Massacre remake came out in 2003, and it like brought the horror boom back. And then so we were all waiting for the Weinsteins in Dimension to make a Scream. The next Scream movie.
We're waiting for Scream, because we got Texas Chainsaw, we got all the
So I've been
remakes,
following it on upcominghorrormovies.com. If you haven't gone to that website, you need to check it out if you're a horror fan. I've been following the updates since 2006.
Upcoming horror films, right?
And back then, they were like, Nev Campbell was like, oh, I don't even want to do it unless it's a good script. And they were even talking about doing a direct-to-DVD version of the movie. But they just kind of waited out the whole horror boom. They should have probably done it, this script by 2008, and it probably would have made double of what it did. But it should have made more. Usually movies don't even do that good in April, like Grindhouse in 2007. Yeah. But anyway, so
Grindhouse should have got a lot more people, but
so in summer 2010, they finally announced like that they finally started production, and they started filming in Ann Arbor and around Ann Arbor, Northville, Dearborn, Michigan.
Local Ann Arbor.
And so first they were like, all right, we're gonna bring back the old cast: Nev Campbell, David Arquette, Courtney Cox, and we're gonna bring in a whole new young cast to carry on the franchise into the next trilogy.
All right. Hollywood was like, all right, let's call up the actresses and the actors.
All right, who's hot
Let's
right
call up
now?
the actor hotline. They're like, all right.
All right, Julia Roberts' niece.
Julia
Emma
Roberts'
Roberts.
niece, she's available.
All right, Lindsay Lohan's in rehab, so we can't hire her for the Jill role.
You can't have her for the Jill role, so.
All right, Hayden Panettiere, she's popular with males age
Macaulay
20
Culkin's
to
brother. Macaulay Culkin's
45.
brother. He's not busy. He can do the film.
All right, we need the clean-cut bad boy, who's obviously gonna be, well, you know. And then they hire Hayden Panettiere because she was on Heroes. Then, like, as filming goes on through the summer, they just keep on, like, racking up the cameos, like, hardcore Hollywood.
Like, who can I get?
Kristen Bell. Rogue from X-Men.
What's his name? From Kenan and Kel.
Anthony Anderson from Kangaroo Jack. The white kid in the indie band from Jennifer's Body.
Alright, what's going on next scene?
Alright, so let's talk about the movie now. Definitely went to go and see it when it came out, April 15th.
Yep, first day we were there, not at midnight, but
of course, any true horror fan is there. So it opens up and it's just like, hello. And it's like the bitch from like Pretty Little Liars or something.
And to quote Myers Fan 25, it's like a movie within the movie, like a Twilight Zone.
No, well, not yet.
Go on.
We still, at this point, we think it's
Yeah, we still think it's the actual movie. Go on.
You think they're Woodsboro High students about to get slaughtered by Ghostface, and they are. And they're talking about watching a horror movie that night. It's pretty tight, and they take a few jabs at Saw, one of my favorite franchises, and of course, hardcore Scream. Also, we got to mention Kevin Williamson, the original writer of the first two movies. He came in to write the script, of course.
Yeah, Kevin, if you're watching this, what's up?
He's always creative. It's always nice to see what he does next. And so then they're talking about stabs. No, so then they're talking about a Facebook killer and shit.
No, they're talking about a Facebook killer. Like, all right, yeah. So I've been on MySpace lately, and there's this guy. They're talking about in the news.
And they're like, he's got great abs though. And then two ghost faces show up, and you're like, oh shit! They already revealed that there's two ghost faces. Oh shit!
And you're like, oh, and you're in your seat.
And then it goes right into stat, and it's like stab 6, and you're like, that's
like,
tight.
oh, it's on the TV. That's tight. They got. All right, then you're like, cool. They got a franchise.
It's a movie within a movie.
They made a franchise out of it. They got they're watching episodes of it now. They made it. That's cool. So then you're watching it, and then it opens up with
Kristen Bell
and she has her stupid Hollywood
Anne
lines
Paquin.
like, it's not a serious. It's not.
Oh, those lines are hilarious. Actually, she's
suck.
like, it's not a zombie or alien or a fucking little Asian girl.
It's a guy who snaps, and you're like, wow, great, Kristen Bell. Go on.
No, but it's just.
Oh yeah,
basically what she's saying is she prefers slashers.
Yeah, but you're watching this, and then she stabs
over all the ghost movies that have come out in the past decade, like The Ring and shit.
She stabs her after she says that, and you're like, whoa, and that was completely unexpected, and you're like, what's going on? But
So presumably Kristen Bell is Ghostface in Stab 7. And it goes to Stab 7.
And
she's
like,
like,
oh, okay.
And it cuts to the actual present day, 15 years later.
So it's actually 2 movies played within the actual film.
And it opens up on 2 high school girls from Woodsboro who are watching the.
And it cuts to the high school, and they play that song. And
it's not even close to it. I'm talking about the.
Okay, go on.
It's the stab within the Stab movie, and then it's the
two girls getting the phone call from Ghostface.
Yeah, you ruined my momentum. Yeah, so they were doing a Stab marathon, their own Stab marathon, like on a school night.
And he's like, "You're the dumb blonde with the big tits."
And he's like, "You're the dumb blonde with the big tits. I'm gonna have some fun with you."
And she's like, "I got a 4.0 GPA."
And then Ghostface stumbles through the freaking glass door like hardcore Ghostface style.
Oh yeah, he does like a ninja flip,
everything.
like goes straight through the glass, like. Phew.
That's hardcore vintage Ghostface style. It's pretty tight.
Yeah.
And you see Ghostface for the first time on the screen in over 10 years. And you're like, oh shit. And then she's running through. Then it's a total set at this point. She goes upstairs and then like downstairs, and it's like plywood. It's like not even painted yet or something. You're like,
it doesn't have the trim on the walls. Then she goes to the garage.
Goes to the garage door and she's like crawling. And then he goes to the garage door opener and it goes down. And then you think it's another Stab 8 movie.
I know, you're
or
like,
something.
wow, it's like,
is this the actual movie?
No, you're like, what is this freaking Rose McGowan scene again? And freaking, but it's pretty tight how it cuts to Ghostface and he turns his face and then he hits the button. Puts it down. It's pretty tight.
Oh yeah, and then out of nowhere it just like plays like.
And then it cuts to the opening. And it's like.
And then it's like Scream 4.
And you're like, wow, what is this, Purple Melon?
And you're like, what is this, Purple Melon or some 90s? And then it's like Sydney made her come back to Woodsboro.
So then Sydney...
She shows up at the bookshop.
So then it cuts to Sydney showing up in Chelsea with the book signing at the local bookstore. At the shop around the corner.
And there's a bunch of Ghostface costumes all hanging
And it's like all Ghostface. Like,
it's pretty tight.
Like the town celebrates it. Like, wow. I mean, you think that's tight, but then it's like, would they even really do that in real life?
She's like, kids will be kids.
Oh, yeah, and it's like a total Hollywood line. She gets out of the car, like, opening scene of her coming out.
Just like a total generic.
And she looks at all the screen masks up, and she's like, kids will be kids. And you're like, wow, Hollywood.
Then she's like, it's Out of the Darkness, her book is called, and you're like, man, this shit is so gay.
Out of the Darkness? She made a book? What is she, freaking Loomis?
What is she going on to the Today Show next?
Where is she going to
She's stopping off at Woodsboro. She's going to have a meeting
with Matt Lauer?
She stopped off for the anniversary of the massacre, of the Woodsboro massacre.
Yeah, she's like, hold up.
What is she, Loomis from Halloween 2, Rob Zombie's Halloween 2?
She's like,
exploiting the situation now or something? Like,
yeah, it's Scream 5. They'll just ruin her like Loomis.
And then so the book's like a total book of like her dome. And it's like Out of the Darkness. And then, so she comes in a rental car. And supposedly, so it's the next morning.
And her chick, like, secretary's like,
Dewey shows up out of nowhere.
Dewey
He's
shows
like-
up out of nowhere. The
He's like,
cops
we got
show
a
up,
call.
and they're like,
He's
everyone,
like, the cell
calm
phone
down.
traced here.
Everyone, calm down. We got a call. There's a cell phone, and they like call it out of
Everyone-
nowhere, and they're like, it's ringing.
Everyone stand back.
And they're like, all
And
right.
it's ringing in the
And
trunk
it's
of
ringing in their
Sydney's,
trunk, and that's
which
like
makes it's a huge plot
it's a
hole.
plot
It makes
hole.
no sense.
it's like Nate Dunning's butthole, and it's a plot hole. So go on.
Because she didn't even stop off at Jill's house yet or anything or stay the night. She showed up right in Woodsboro. Like how Ghostface was able to. How Ghostface. I'm gonna sum this up and then we're gonna go to part 2. How Ghostface was able to plant evidence in Sydney's rental car is like.
I don't know how they able
serious
to, how
plot
they
hole.
able to do that
I
because but I mean you can kind of understand because if she came home for the book signing and whatnot for the anniversary she would have stopped at
But she
family.
doesn't because
She
it
would've stopped
shows
at
in the
family
movie
first,
that
but
they
don't
meet
show
for
that.
the
They don't,
first time.
That's
It shows
that's
them on
the plot
screen.
hole is that they meet later on. They don't meet. So how would she get the
Alright, so
how would Jill get the knife?
check
and the
out part
photos in
2
there?
of our Scream 4
All right, check
horror
out part
review.
2, Scream 4 horror review.